Welcome, everybody, to All Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 6 different Western New York locations. Make sure you get over to Fatty Beer and let them know Two Goalies, One Mike sent you. I highly suggest their mango wheat beer, the F Yeah beer, one of my favorites when I do go there. Some big events going on at the Lancaster location right now. Mario Lopez was actually down on Main Street in Lancaster, partaking in filming that I think like a Buffalo Bills Christmas movie or whatever. I do know he was down there the last couple days, and it was on his Instagram account. I know he had a beer with the boys and Fatty. My buddy Greg Day Jr. Got to meet him, which was pretty cool. So a lot of cool stuff happening on the Lancaster location. So make sure you go check them out. And as always, Buffalo Logo Apparel. Whether it's your shirts, your hats, your hoodies, Buffalo Logo is a great spot for all of your Buffalo sports apparel needs. Make sure you go check them out at Buffalo Logo Co. on Instagram and Twitter, buffalogo.com, Fatty Beer on Instagram and Twitter, fattybeer.com. The Buffalo Sabres losing a shootout to the Florida Panthers, 3-2. It was a kind of a blah game in terms of, I don't know, like scoring. And, I think the big story of the game was obviously the hit on Kulik. And what blows my mind is the fact that was initially called a major on the ice. And then under review, somehow it was overturned, which again blows my mind because by definition of the rule of interference, that was interference. Like, I'm not going to dispute that it was a dirty check in itself, like a hit to the head. It wasn't. It wasn't a dirty check hit to the head, nothing like that. But Kulik never made contact with that puck. He never touched that puck. Every view you can see it, he doesn't touch the puck. And the second I forget how to pronounce this fucking guy's name. But Gadvicic, however you say it, Gadjovic, the second he leaves the box, he targets Kulik. He doesn't even look down at the puck. He targets Kulik. And again, it was, shoulder to chest. It wasn't a hit to the head. That is not the complaint here. The complaint is he never touched the puck. He was in pursuit of the puck, sure, but he never touched it. That, by definition, is interference. Like, okay, if you want to take the major off the table, sure. 2 and a 10, 2-minute penalty. The fact that that no penalties were called on that at all is insanity to me. Insanity. And just the wishy-wash officiating that entire game was a joke. It was an absolute joke. And I think I tweeted it out earlier, like in the game. I said, 15 years ago, Lindy's throwing a water bottle on the ice and sending Peters or Mara over the bench to go after him. The response would be immediate, or he'd go after Marchand or whomever, one of their better, more skilled players. I know they were shorthanded tonight as well, but like it just. Listen, I appreciate Alex Tuck. They should extend him as soon as they can, because that was some true captain shit there. Lining up next to him and telling him, "Hey, we're going." Didn't really give him a choice, and he obliged. That's some true captain shit there. But it shouldn't be Alex Tuck, man. I hate that it's Alex Tuck. I love it, but I also hate it because you can't have that guy get hurt. Just can't. Perfect example here. Why is Tuck fighting? He's too valuable to not be on the ice for that long. I get the sticking up for your teammates, but the Sabres have other guys that should have handled that. But here's the thing. Do they? Like, when the hit happened, Zach Benson is literally in every scrum that he's on the ice for. Like anything that happens, Zach Benson is like the first guy on the pile. And I love that. And I love the fact that we have maybe a future Marchand on our hands, a guy who is great defensively. Hopefully, that translates into scoring down the line. And I love that he has that edge and that grittiness to him. But that guy for you can't be a guy who's 5'9". Just can't be that guy. It can't. I'm not saying you got to go out and get an agitator or an enforcer, but like I would love a guy like Sam Bennett on this team. And I know he's a free agent in the offseason. I don't know, maybe we'll see. If they target a guy like that, he will be available. But that's the type of player I want on this roster because teams might think twice before pulling shit like that. Yes, this is good news. It shows that this team does not have all the pieces to get to the playoffs, and something major will have to be done in the offseason to right the ship. 2 losses in a row, just cannot get the job done. Still not ready for the playoffs. I tend to agree. They have been playing great hockey over the last month, but can't lose games like you have the last 2. I'm getting more irritated with Adams with every game Norris misses. Yeah, Josh Norris it was announced that Josh Norris will miss the rest of the season, along with looks like Jordan Greenway. My questions are, how much information did Kevin Adams have heading into this trade? Like how much? It was said by either him or Lindy that this was a lingering issue. I don't know for certain. Like, was this something that happened in those 3 games that he played? Was this something that Buffalo was aware of? I would like to know that information, because if this is something that continues in the next year, something that the guy has to deal with, I hope not. Like, somebody should be fired. Somebody should be fired. And here's the thing, like, up until a few games ago, we were still hoping for playoffs. And here's the thing too. Like why did we give up a 2nd-round pick on top of Cousins to get Norris, a player who has a bigger contract than Cousins, if you knew that he had not just the shoulder issues, but current issues with this mid-body injury, whatever it might be? I would like to know if this is something that happened in the 3 games he played, or if this is something that Kevin Adams knew about. He was cleared by the Sabres medical staff, or like, hey, we've looked at the records, we've talked to their medical staff, we've diagnosed that this isn't something that's gonna be a long-term thing. With Rust, he'll be fine. Like I get that this could be a move made for the future, and if Josh Norris stays healthy, and if this isn't a serious thing that again hampers him next year, this could end up being a great trade, because I think he has better scoring ability, he has a better shot, he's better defensively. I think he's better at most things than Dylan Cousins. It might be worth the extra $1 million a year they're paying him, or $1 million plus. But it's frustrating because you get this guy, you bring him and he plays 3 games, and then we don't see him for the rest of the season. That's frustrating. That's frustrating for me as a Sabres fan. Because to me, that tells me that at the deadline, Adams decided, yep, this isn't the year. We're making a play here for the future, which is fine. But he played 3 games, and now, I just don't understand it. Was this something that was more serious, ended up being more serious than you thought it was when you made the trade? Or was this something that happened in those 3? I keep repeating myself, but I want to know. I genuinely know. And, I think we're going to have on Mike Harrington next week. Maybe we get some more clarity from him. But it's frustrating as a fan to see a guy like Cousins, who was a part of this core for the past couple of years, got a big contract, be shipped out along with a 2nd-round pick. And then you get a guy back who only plays 3 games. He gets 2 points in those 3 games. And then we don't see him for the rest of the year. And we just don't have a ton of clarity on what the issue is. Was it something that he was dealing with while in Ottawa? Because if it was something, then why the fuck did you give up a 2nd-round pick? And how come they didn't retain a single dollar salary? Because clearly they're making a play for a player that they believe that can help them on this playoff run, not a guy who is injured. I just don't understand why you're giving up the extra asset and there's no retention on their end. I don't know, man. That's the frustrating part to me. Extremely frustrating. When is Norris and Greenway going to play this season? I'm pretty sure it was announced today that they probably won't play for the rest of the season. The ref said he did. Again, I don't want to get back into that. We already talked about it. I'm sorry, Jack. I don't know what the Ottawa doctor said. If any of you guys have heard something that I didn't, I'd appreciate you just in the peanut gallery here letting me know, because I haven't heard an ounce of if this was a lingering thing that he had while still with Ottawa, or if this was something that, happened in the 3 games that he did play with Buffalo. Okay, I usually don't say much about the rest, but that missed call, that call 20 was horrible, and they missed a ton of other calls in Florida tonight. I thought every time Thompson had the puck, they were hanging all over them. And I agree with you. How the hell do you trade somebody for somebody that already had an injury and played 2 games, and it's actually 3, and now going to be out the rest of the year and has never played a full season? That's sad. Whenever they get Kevin Adams next in front of the media, which will probably be after locker room cleanout here fairly soon, like, that is one of the big questions I'm asking him. You make a deal for Josh Norris. You trade away a guy who's been a part of your core that you had a lot of high hopes. You signed him to a big contract. Didn't work out. Okay, we all kind of saw that this deal was potentially coming. He was in the rumor mill for a long time. You had the Detroit rumors before the Four Nations tournament. The writing was on the wall. Okay, so you dealt him. But did you know about this injury? Did you know this could be a thing that could be linger for the rest of the season? And why did you attach a 2nd-round pick if you knew about this? To me, Adams might have got hustled here because he was just desperate to make a move. I don't know. I don't know. So, but again, Sabres lose today with a 6 o'clock start, 3-2 in a shootout. Kulich was ran by Gadjevich in the second period. I mean, people were on him like immediately. There was an incident with Thompson and Dahlin that followed that. Benson was in on both. I don't know, the things they need to target this offseason. Obviously, I've been very big on Mitch Marner. You know how unrealistic that sounds, but I would be so hard pressed in on him as best as you can be. I look at guys like Sam Bennett who might be available. I'd be big on him for sure. Sam Bennett plays with an edge. A guy like Marchand who is always in on scrums. He plays with he plays with an edge. I remember him last season in the Florida Boston series when he sucker punched Marchand. Guy who plays with an edge. He kind of holds people accountable on the opponent from the opponent's team. For a lack of better ways of saying it, like he'll hold other teams and other players accountable. He may not be very intimidating in terms of his size, but he plays with that edge. Things that you don't want to deal with when you're lined up across from him. He's not afraid to drop the gloves. He's not afraid to hit. He's not afraid to be scrappy. He's not afraid to, give you a chop with the stick. And I love that about Sam Bennett. It'd be nice to see Buffalo possibly take a run at him. A lot of things need to be fixed with this roster heading into next year. Only a couple games left. We pull up the schedule right now. I know the last game of the season against Philly, fan appreciation night. We get the Leafs coming. So right now we got 3 games left. Tomorrow against Tampa at 6. Then we have the Leafs on Tuesday. That is here in Buffalo. So we'll see how many Leafs fans are actually in attendance, because from things I've read, a lot of Leafs, Canadian, in terms of ticket prices being so low for this game, people speculate how many Leafs fans might actually be in attendance, because of the current political nature, between the U.S. and Canada. So we'll see. And then fan appreciation night next week, Thursday, they play the Flyers. Alex Tuck bobblehead night. They always do well with those events. They do the jersey off your back. I don't know. I see Mauricio here in the chat. Do you offer sheet anyone? I think everything should be on the table for Kevin Adams. Offer sheet, between offer sheets, you're looking at RFAs, that are coming up to be signed on a contract year. I wouldn't be afraid to do that. And be willing to overpay in free agency, because if you want a big fish, a guy who is going to immediately slide it into a top 6 position, either top line or second line, you got to be willing to overpay to get him to come to Buffalo. You got to be convincing. You know, as dumb as this sounds, you have to have all hands on deck. And that includes the other team you own in the Bills. You have possibly one of the most polarizing players in the NFL in Josh Allen. I would have everybody on deck willing to, get a player of high caliber like a Mitch Marner. Get him to visit Buffalo. Get him, he comes here on his own time. He's a big Bills fan. Maybe you invite him like, hey, don't sign on day one of free agency. Come on to Buffalo. Check it out. We want to show you, we want to show you the real side of this city that maybe you haven't seen, or maybe you have seen it. Again, he comes here in his own free time. He's a massive Bills fan. I do know for a fact that he is friends with some of the players. I would have all hands on deck, seeing as you own both teams, to try and lure a player like Mitch Marner's caliber into Buffalo. You can't end a fourth offseason in a row not having your defensive partner for Owen Power figured out. I'd offer sheet Matt Nyes from Toronto if the Mitch Marner thing doesn't work out, because I don't think they'll be able to afford both of them. Not when you still got to pay Tavares. You're still pay. You got to think. I think Matthews only signed a 5-year deal. I mean, I think if it's not Connor McDavid, it'll be Austin Matthews. It'll be the first $20 million hockey player in NHL history, especially with how much the cap is going up. They're not going to be able to afford all those guys. I would absolutely offer sheet Matt Nyes. You don't need the picks, especially we'll see where this pick ends up with the lottery. If it ends up being a top 5 pick or not, but you don't need the picks. You just don't. I don't even know if this year's pick would be eligible if you were to offer sheet Matt Nyes. I really don't know if it would. It might be next year's first round pick. And if so, screw it, man. You have enough first round picks currently in Rochester who don't have a definitive spot on this roster next season. Screw it. Just do it. It's a business. Who cares what perception you're giving other GMs? Like, they want to do business. Who cares? Who gives a shit? You are not currently in a position with this franchise, the state of this franchise, to care what other GMs think about you. You got to be doing whatever you can to make this team better. If that means offer sheeting something and pissing a GM off, who gives a shit? Who cares? Yeah, the St. Louis offer sheets works with Dylan Holloway, and I forget the other guy, but they worked. They worked. From John Wolf, what's up with Ryan Johnson? I don't know, man. That's another guy I'd be looking to move to, a left-handed shot defenseman. You're pretty loaded on the left side. I don't know where he fits in on this team next season. That's a guy that I'd be looking to move in the offseason, for sure. I personally don't know if he will be in Buffalo next year. I don't know. I don't know where he fits in. But he is a former first-round pick. He is a guy that I would be looking to move. No doubt about it. So, and I'm not saying that because I don't like the player. I just don't know where he fits in on that side. I mean, can he play both sides? I don't know. I really don't. I know he has had a decent season in Rochester, and he could very well be a very good, serviceable defenseman, very good serviceable defenseman in the NHL. But I just don't know where he fits in with the current pairings. Like, he's a left-handed shot defenseman. UPL actually played well for the most part. Still not consistent enough. I'll say he played well, but that first goal I didn't like. He got caught out of his net on that wraparound. And that second goal, I know he had a little traffic in front, but you could tell as a goalie, he saw the puck. He had his glove right here trying to track it, and he just missed it. So to me, at least the second one, that's a save you have to make. The first one, I mean, I don't know, rough bounce, wraps the puck around. I don't know. But again, I thought he did play well. Having said that, I think he did play well. Yeah, the first goal was bad. I hated the second one more, personally. I know he had a lot of traffic in front, but even Baran in the intermission said he saw it. Like, he just had his glove where the puck was headed. He just missed it. Sabres will select 8th overall, depending on how the lottery goes. Listen, that would be on par, on brand, sorry, for Buffalo to end up picking 8th. And if that's the case, screw the pick, trade it, package it, get somebody, get a defenseman. I don't know. I just don't care about picks anymore. Unless this pick this year is a top 3 pick, I just don't care about it. I really don't. So, from Hunter Rosen, do you think Quinn is cooked, or are you concerned about Norris? I already went over the Josh Norris thing. You can, if you want to rewind it, not to get into that again, but yeah, I am concerned about Josh Norris. I'd like to know more information about how much of his injury was known when the trade was made, how serious it was. They played him 3 games, and then he misses the rest of the season. So I would personally love to know what they knew about this injury. Were they made to believe that it wasn't that serious? And did it get more serious in those 3 games that he played? Did he damage himself further in those 3 games? Should they not have played him at all? Those are things I'd like to know. From Paul Derrick, Lindy said the injury was from when he was in Ottawa, was still playing. It was something that has been lingering. I remember that word lingering. So I don't know, man. Maybe if this was a move for the future, you shouldn't have played him at all. You should have just shut him down. And I get it's not the most popular move, but I don't know. Letting him play 3 games and then shutting him down for the season, that's not a very popular move either. So, any NCAA players out there you think we can sign? I personally don't. I'm not familiar with the list. I know we normally do a show after the season in regards to stuff like this. We'll bring intern Joey on. We'll bring somebody who's more familiar with the NCAA guys like Dave Starman. So stay tuned for that, John. We usually do something like that at the end of the season. Marika seems like a fit. He's a 6'6" right-handed defenseman, ranked 10th in draft, I believe. We all know if Adams trades pick, he will just trade down. I've actually been pretty high on him too, though he's a very smooth skater. He moves the puck well, and he's not afraid to use his body. He's not afraid to play like he's 6'6". So that is a guy that would be on my if you do trade down to get more picks and get if you are going to make that pick, that is a guy I would target because you are not deep at all on the right side. So, do I think Terry talks to the media next Friday on lock? No way, no shot. I don't see Terry Pegula addressing the media at all. I think if there's one thing he's learned as the owner of the Sabres is to probably stay as far away from the media as he possibly can. We will get Kevin Adams though. That's a given. But that being said, guys, I'll keep things short. Lindy Ruff came this close to getting career win number 900. Unfortunately, couldn't get that done tonight. He'll be the 5th coach in NHL history to achieve such a feat in 900 wins. He'll have 3 more cracks at it against the Lightning. I would like him to get it against the Leafs personally. My hatred runs deep for Toronto, so it would be cool for him to win number 900 against the Leafs. But if not, definitely have fan appreciation night. Unless you're a fan who's rooting for a better draft pick, then you want them to go 1-3 here. But I would like to see Lindy get picked or win number 900 here before the season's out, preferably against Toronto because fuck the Toronto Maple Leafs. But with that being said, I'll hang up and listen. I'll let you guys get to the rest of your Saturday night. Again, it's not like the Sabres played terribly. Just didn't go their way. Couldn't cash in the shootout. Was an exciting overtime, but I think more or less the story was the lack of officiating in this game. The hit on Kulik. We discussed all that. So for you that are tuning in right now, make sure you rewind and watch this back. So actually, let me see if I can pull up the anything from Brian Koziel in terms of post-game comments. Let's see here. Nope, nothing from Koziel. So it was a road game. So maybe again, I don't know who was there. Maybe it was Lance. Let me check. See if Lance grabbed any post-game quotes from the locker room. Let's see here. from Lance Lyasowski. No, nothing. Let me see. Yeah, nothing. Nothing from Lance in the post game. Owen Power did leave the game too, and according to Lindy, is unlikely to play tomorrow in Tampa from Lindy Ruff. Lower body injury. I think we all saw that one collision that kind of, I don't know if like a hyperextension on the knee. Didn't look pretty, but hopefully it's not too serious. He'll definitely looks like be out tomorrow against Tampa Bay. I don't know who they slide into that slot, so I'm not sure who they have up with them. I'm not sure who the extra defenseman is. But I'll hang up and listen, guys. Remember, this is brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 6 different Western New York locations and a location in Rochester. Make sure if you want a beer, make it a Fatty beer and let them know 2 Goalies 1 Mike sent you. If you have enjoyed these post-game shows all season, or if you're just tuning in now for the first time, please make sure you subscribe. If you're watching on Twitter, you can find me right there at Duane S39. You can find the show at 2 Goalies 1 Mike. We're on Facebook and Instagram as well. If you're listening on as an audio only, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Just search 2 Goalies 1 Mike, you'll find us. And more importantly, if you are watching on YouTube, again, I see many of you are here in the chat. Please make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon so you know when we go live. And please, everybody in the chat, hit the like button. Goes a long way with the YouTube algorithm. So I'll hang up and listen. Guys, have a good weekend. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And as always, go Sabres.